some kind of a barrier to entry into politics. Like we talk of inclusive politics or the pluralist democracy. But then that can only be possible when people from diverse background, social, cultural, economic, they have some kind of opportunity to participate. Because when the expenses required to fight an election is so high, then everybody cannot participate. Each cannot participate, or the people from lower income group cannot participate, and so that actually creates problem for a qualitative democracy or successful democracy. It also creates some kind of nexus between money power and influence. There is some kind of quid pro quo as to that when they have money, they can influence the power hierarchy, and that would give something in return to them. So there could be practice of trade funding, which we have been seeing and all that. There is a policy capture, the possibility of policy being captured through financial process, and the elected office often becomes an investment opportunity, to generate further returns and things like that. So this needs to be regulated, and now when it comes to expenditure regulation, the challenges are very much and highly complex, and it's complex due to large-scale political mobilization that is required at the time of election. Apart from the digital campaign that we do, Sir was talking about the digital campaign, and then targeted advertising is done through social media, and then there are the third-party sponsorship also, and there is a growing professionalization of the political communication. The way we communicate our political ideas, that is raising some kind of policy questions. How do we regulate expenditure in election? And that too without restricting the
वो तो किसी भी लड़की से बहस करता है अब मेकअप तो इससे थोड़ी है
and there is also some kind of difference in the expenditure that are incurred by the person. I mean,
नहीं ये कंचन से ही बहस कर लो तो
the party also spends money. Then there are third parties also who
इसलिए बहस नहीं करना
and this monetary transaction really distorts the kind of democratic practices that we engage in. So now the question is, how do we build some kind of a mechanism or system to enforce the kind of rules and regulations that will bring in to regulate the things. So there are many things that I think doesn't permit me to speak in detail. So regulation is something that's important. It must be done, and the Election Commission of India from time to time we have the very GL session who have started it with mechanisms like statutory expenditure ceiling, then there is video or surveillance or accounting or scrutiny, disclosure requirements. There are many more and all that. These measures or innovative things that have been brought in from time to time definitely reflect our commitment to some kind of level playing field within the election framework. So now. If at all we are going to have some kind of regulatory mechanism, I think it should be based on three fundamental principles that all of us know. Transparency, because when funding is done, people must know who is funding and how much is funding. Without that, there will be problems. And then there should be accountability. People must be accountable, and then there should be equity and fairness. Because without regulation, equity and fairness in the electoral process would be difficult, to maintain, and this would not relate the people to have a level playing field, which is the cornerstone in any kind of competition, election or any other competition. So the objective for expenditure regulation is not to eliminate money from politics, but to ensure that money does not overpower or drown the democratic voices, that are considered to be sacred and sacrosanct in the democracy. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. तो आई होप आप सबने देखा होगा आपके आसपास if there is any person जो कि बहुत सोशल है तो उसको कभी ना कभी किसी न किसी ने बोलेगा भाई तुम चुनाव लड़ लो, आपने देखा होगा। और सामने से जो जवाब सबसे आखिरी जवाब है वो मेरे साथ इसमें करते नहीं तो वो चुनाव लड़े। So keeping that in mind, now we initiate for the question and answer session of this panel discussion. And the first question is pressing on this particular fact itself, which I'd like to pose to Dr. Deepak Kumar Srivastava, sir, our first panelist. So elections are becoming increasingly expensive. बहुत महंगे होते जा रहे हैं इलेक्शन across democracies, not just in India. Often creating barriers for new entrants. नए लोग सोच भी नहीं पा रहे इलेक्शन में एंटर करने का and reinforcing advantages for well-funded political actors. मतलब जो जिनके पास पैसे हैं वो जमे हुए हैं वो जमे हुए हैं. In your view, sir, what are the principal structural drivers behind this rising cost of election, that is question, and which regulatory intervention has proven most effective in reducing the campaign expenditure without compromising the political competition and the voter outreach? Sir, please.
नहीं सीयू छत्तीसगढ़ में दिख जाएगा। सीयू छत्तीसगढ़.NIC.in में जाइए। सीयू छत्तीसगढ़ गूगल में लिखिए ना सीयू छत्तीसगढ़ आ जाएगा। मतदाता सूची तो आप डाउनलोड कर ही सकते हैं किसी भी मतदान केंद्र कहीं का भी डाउनलोड ऑनलाइन तो मिल जाता है।
And in one case, what Supreme Court of India quoted, it should be open to individual or any political party, household or small, to be
मतदान केंद्र वाला डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं
election
विधानसभा का मतदाता
on the footing of equality with any other individual or political party, howsoever rich and well financed it may be, and no individual or political party should be able to secure an advantage over others by reason of its superior financial strength. This is one of the cases that was decided long back. The case is Kanwar Lal Gupta. Another very important case, that is PUCL versus Union of India, People's Union for Civil Liberties. In that, what Supreme Court of India said, because this is an issue and that is very much taken care of. One of the most critical problems in the matter of electoral reforms is the hard reality that for contesting an election one needs large amount of money. The limits of expenditure prescribed are meaningless and almost never adhered to. As a result, it becomes difficult for the good and the honest to enter legislatures. It also creates a high degree of compulsion for corruption in the political arena. This has progressively polluted the entire system. Corruption becomes, it erodes performance, becomes one of the leading reasons for non-performance and compromised governments in the country. The sources of some of the election funds are believed to be unaccounted criminal money in return for protection, unaccounted funds from business groups who expect a high return on this investment, kickbacks or commissions on contracts, etc., etc. So this is the observation given by the Supreme Court of India in relation to the election expenditure. Then coming to how it is to be regulated and what are the new dimensions is emerging. If you take the control, the very first thing is that the Election Commission of India has done a tremendous job in managing